If you're competitive in games like Overwatch, Pubg, or Rainbow Six Siege and are looking for an advantage with sound, check out the PC37X gaming headset from Massdrop. The PC37X is a custom gaming headset designed with comfort and performance in mind. The plush ear cups and headband in combination with a crystal clear noise-canceling microphone makes marathon gaming sessions a breeze. Check out the link in the description below and get instant shipping from Massdrop today. Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's video I'm going to be talking about some practical tips for sniping in Pubg. After the recent weapon balance patch, DMRs have been pushed into many main rotations and generally you are dealing with far more players sniping than in previous patches. With more snipers, that means more sniper battles and more time looking down a scope. In my gameplay I've noticed a few mistakes that I've had to correct and have experimented with different weapon combinations that I thought some of you might find useful in your own gameplay. So with that said, let's get started. DMR versus bolt action and selecting your kit. When it comes to selecting a sniper rifle, you must first consider your preference for a main weapon. SMGs and ARs are both viable choices in the current meta, but in my opinion, if you prefer to use an SMG for a primary, then you should consider a DMR as your secondary weapon. In the past, I've talked about the UMP and the Kar98 being a good pairing, which it still can be, but this combination loses effectiveness in the mid-range. Unless you're an above-average sniper with a bolt-action rifle, mid-range engagements against an opponent with an AR can be difficult when using this loadout. The slow bullet speed of SMGs are the primary negative factor in the mid-range. If you're having trouble landing shots with a Kar98, you may find yourself getting picked apart, especially in endgame situations or in the later circles. If you were to pair your SMG with the Mini, SKS, or SLR, you will have a precision option that can be useful in both mid and long-range engagements. I personally have found that the Mini is a great pairing for an SMG because of its bullet speed, fire rate, and controllable recoil. Realistically, any DMR would be a good choice as you can simply switch to a red dot if you need some up-close punch against a late-game target wearing level 3 gear. Ultimately, the choice is yours, but I'm a big proponent of using the most flexible kit that can perform at all distances. When it comes to those who would prefer to use an AR for your primary weapon, you can essentially choose whatever you like, with preference likely going to the bolt-action snipers. The bolt-action AR combo has been tried and tested for a very long time in Pubg, but keep in mind that if you're going to stick with a bolt-action rifle, I would recommend using one of the 5.56 ARs so you can maintain that mid-range accuracy. The AK is a lot better than it was, but can still be a bit shaky for mid-range sprays and bursts. My preference for the AK is to use a DMR, but again, it's all about individual skill. If you're going to use a bolt action, hit your shots and everything's going to be great. Practicing good shot selection. Good shot selection is the key to effectively using your secondary marksman rifle. Bolt action or DMR doesn't matter if you aren't choosing your shots wisely. Often, players will jump at the first chance to shoot an enemy regardless of what they happen to be doing. When I'm reviewing VODs for Pubg Academy or just playing the game, I've noticed that poor shot selection can not only lead to missing out on an otherwise easy kill, but can also turn against the player and lead to unnecessary damage or death. The basic components of good shot selection are clear line of sight, preference for stationary targets, and being in a decent shooting position. Obviously, you can't shoot a target you can't see, so line of sight is self-explanatory. If you're using a DMR, try to line up your target so you can hit 2 consecutive shots at minimum. The first being a headshot, followed by a quick body shot to secure the kill. This isn't always easy to do when controlling your recoil, but landing a headshot and destroying a helmet is still a good outcome with a DMR. Stationary targets are always a nice find when you're running around the map. Line up your shots and don't get too excited at the prospect of an easy kill. When your target is not stationary, practice a bit of patience and see if you can catch them in a bad spot. When I see a player running, I try to let them get far enough away from cover that it would be difficult for them to get back to it without getting taken down. Decent shooting position can be categorized as being in cover, somewhat concealed, and not exposing yourself to obvious flanks. Players utilizing sniper rifles often get caught up in being high on hills or in buildings. There is nothing wrong with height advantages or the cover of a building, but how you manage that cover is important to make sure you're not an easy target to counter-snipe or flank. If you're high on a hill, don't silhouette yourself by standing perfectly still in your scope waiting for a shot. Stay mobile and always be assessing whether or not you're in the best spot to shoot from. If you're in a building, make sure to re-peek from various angles and don't be predictable. Consider also that leaving a building is dangerous, especially in the late game. I always prefer movement options and escape routes over building cover towards the end of a round. Avoiding common mistakes. Sniping is a huge part of PUBG, and similar to other areas of the game, there are some common mistakes that I sometimes make that, when corrected, increase my survival rate tremendously. Avoid tunnel vision. If you're tracking or attacking a target, don't spend too much time in your scope. Remember that noise attracts enemies. Move around your position and check approach angles to make sure you're not being flanked. Don't repeat the same angles repeatedly. Avoid becoming predictable, especially in a prolonged fight. Sometimes it's better to give up on a sniper battle and try and pressure your enemy into a closer engagement. Counter-sniping is a different ballgame now that level 3 helmets are restricted to crates. It is extremely dangerous to go 1v1 in a bolt-action fight against a level 3 helmet. I would try and pressure that enemy rather than re-peeking and risking death if I don't have similar equipment. The same can be said regardless of whether a level 3 helmet is present. If you don't have the peek advantage, reposition against a Kar 98 or M24. Try to flank and pressure rather than rolling the dice to see who can land the headshot first. But at the same time, if you have the opportunity or feel like you have the skill advantage, take the shot. Like anything else in PUBG, becoming a good sniper requires practice and often involves a lot of mistakes along the way. Hopefully some of these tips makes that journey a little easier for you. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like down below, and if you have any tips of your own, leave a comment down there as well. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, guys, and don't forget to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses and on Twitter at wtfmoses. Thanks again, guys, and until next time, I'll see you out there.